Hello, and welcome to a special edition of We Got Issues, the only comic book podcast that can tell the difference between Bruce Banner and I Can't Believe It's Not Banner. I'm Brian Compton, aka BComp, and joining me as always is the Miles Morales to my Ben Riley, Josh Markwith. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to think of like a good joke for Bruce Banner and margarine. I don't know.
I'm not
right, because that's what I can't believe it's not butter is, right? It's margarine.
Sure. I mean, I guess I'm not going to get into it. It's like there are some side characters.
Oh, sorry, you started it, and you got to get into it.
No, not really. I don't. I don't have to do anything I don't want to.
There's some like social thing against butter and margarine.
No, I was just saying, like, I think, was it Rick Jones? Didn't he marry someone named Marlowe in the Incredible Hulk comics? So I was going to make a correlation between margarine and Marlowe, but Marlowe rather. But it was going to be a swing.
Yeah,
it was going to be a swing.
That's another bigger, deeper hole.
Yeah.
And then the Miles Morales, Ben Riley. So here's a quick question on that one.
Sure.
Who do you think has a better costume?
I mean, Miles.
I'm talking Scarlet Spider.
Yeah. No. Look, here's the thing. That's kind of like two questions. One, Miles has the better costume. Which costume do I like better? I like the Scarlet Spider's costume better. But which has the better costume? Oh, easily Miles. Although I will say this, I do think Miguel O'Hara's Spider-Man 2099 costume is probably the best Spider-Man costume.
Yeah, I always had the affinity for the hood.
Yeah.
Like the hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Kind of look of the Scarlet Spider, but he also like Miles's hooded sweatshirt stuff in across the beyond the into the Spider-Verse, excuse me.
Yeah.
Is one of my favorites too. I think
well, same with even Gwen. Cool. Spider-Gwen's has got that great hoodie as well, and that's pretty sick.
That too. Something with Spider-Man and hoods.
Yeah, who knew? You probably can't tell. What are we talking about today, Josh?
We're talking about the Hulk. No,
okay.
So with as you probably saw in the episode description, the new movie of Spider-Man: Brand New Day came in theaters, and we thought we kind of, instead of going right into the next episode, which we'll tease at the very end, we wanted to come and discuss the new Spider-Man movie and kind of talk about the comic context about it, what we thought about the movie, and just kind of really just chat about the latest outing of the MCU.
But before we can do all that, we've got to take care of a little business.
Yeah, it's business time. We gotta business before pleasure.
Time.
It's business.
It's business. Okay, that's right. It's time to give a shout out to Duff and Shaw Snacks. Now, whether it's their limited edition gummy army guys or their 2-foot-long gummy anaconda, Duff and Shaw Snacks and candy, are curated from the most mysterious and undiscovered places on planet Earth. Head on over to duffandshaw.com/issues today and check out all they've got and more. Again, that's duffandshaw.com/issues for the most legendary snacks in the world.
All right. Yeah. It definitely helps out the podcast, helps us out. Yeah. And you get amazing snacks. So like we say all the time, it's a win-win-win-win.
Win-win-win. We all win.
And speaking of URLs, though, we're going to take this chance to also to shout out our socials to make sure you kind of give us a follow if you like what you listen to, and that's We Got Issues Cast on Instagram, and We Got Issues on Blue Sky, and the BComp on Blue Sky, and then Speedo Jedi on Instagram for you, Brian.
Yeah, and I've never used it though.
No,
I don't know if I'm ever going to use it.
I tag you in all the posts, and it's just like, I know I'm tagging nothing.
Yeah, it's like I got an email from Instagram. You have 2 unread messages. I'm like, yeah, I'm not clicking on that. Sorry, Meta.
those messages are mostly from me tagging you in this the post.
I was gonna say
but yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna say like that's the best place to reach out to us and give us either like some something you guys want to like us to chat about, or even talk about the podcast, which we did have a surprise commentator on our socials too. Like Brian, that was pretty crazy, right?
Oh, really? Yeah. In fact, it's so funny. So, our last episode we did is Catwoman Lonely City, who was written and drawn by the artist writer now, Cliff Chang. And I was going to get this frantic, and I could feel it through the text. It was frantic, this frantic text from Josh going, "Oh my God. Oh my God." Like, what, dude? So Cliff Chang liked our post. I'm like, oh, shoot. Yeah. And then like a second later, my notification came up. It was like, Cliff Chang likes your. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I quickly typed out a message. I was like, thank you so much. And and he responded to me, and I was like, hey, what's the next book you're going to work on? I was like, he didn't say I could talk about it. But he was like, I'm hoping to get back into Gotham City again. But I was like, great, man. Let us know what it is. We'll take a look at it.
And we also, it was just like, hey, thanks for featuring the book, which is, first of all, like, thanks for even writing the book. Second, thanks for hearing about us too, which was completely awesome. And I did.
We didn't even tag him. We didn't even tag him in the thing, so he found it independently.
People. Yeah. I don't tag people. I keep a tag list just in case. I don't know, for whatever reason, but
piss somebody off.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, but yeah, it was very like organically found, which is awesome. And then I did of course the thing like, hey, you want to come on the show, please? We're awesome. So kind of made a fool out of myself that way. Hopefully, I'm glad he's gracious and didn't say anything like, dude, you're a dork. No way. But it's just like a cool thing of like how our stuff is growing and just kind of getting a little bit more eyes and everything.
I believe that's called a pat on the back.
That's right, man.
Well, let's not our welcome. Jeez, I cannot talk today. Let's get into today's not book, but today's topic.
Yeah, Josh. And again, it's Spider-Man Brand New Day, and we obviously we're talking about the movie, and even though according to the box office, everybody and their mom saw this movie already, so it's like, do we even really need to talk to people about it, like, or talk to entice people to see it? But look, we're gonna get into spoiler territory a little bit later, but for now we're gonna keep from ruining movie, or at least we will let you know when we're about to, like, we're not gonna drop off any spoilers on the red carpet of the premiere like some people.
That happened?
That did happen. It was like one of the interviewers, or like somebody he dropped a major spoiler on the red carpet. It's just hilarious.
Good. I was going to say, because Mark Ruffalo and Tom Holland are kind of known for blowing.
I know, which is hilarious. They're both in the same movie.
Yeah. I love watching, like, Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo just like realize, like, oh no, did I just ruin it for everybody? You just see Cheeto, dude, shut up, let's just move on. And then I love that they had to pair Holland with Benedict Cumberbatch, because Cumberbatch was like, stop.
He was like the babysitter.
Yeah, and then
there's like a famous like interview too where Tom was talking about No Way Home, and they're talking about a stunt. And it's like when, where it was the MJ stunt, or where she falls off and he gets caught by Andrew Garfield. Spoiler alert now. Hopefully you've seen it. But he says something like, yeah, it was cool. Like, I wasn't there, so it was cool. Like, and you kind of see the blood wash away
from his face.
Completely, he goes completely white. Like, oh no! Like,
man.
that meme was like, oh no, yeah.
That's great. I was gonna say the Ruffalo, when he's like, oh, you should see the next one, everybody, and you just see she's like, I shouldn't have said that. He's like, dude, and she's like, dude, just don't stop talking. Like, Mark's just like, oh my god, I'm in trouble, aren't I? Just move on. You just see Ruffalo just realize, just like blew it.
Which he said is like a joke, but it was, and they figure out that it was real. And then he had his phone
Instagram
on
like
live
the first 10 minutes of
the first 10 minutes of Ragnarok.
Yeah, he just had it on live. He's just in his pocket, just
Yeah.
showing off the movie. Well,
Oh,
let's talk about the movie we need to talk about. Let's talk about Spider-Man. This movie was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who brought us Wonder Man show as well as the Shang-Chi movie, and it was scripted by the writing duo of Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, who were both the writers on the previous 3 Spider-Man films, as well as Ant-Man and the Wasp. The film is already one of the year's biggest films. It's already cleared $1 billion in less than a week and has been a critical smash with both the fans and the critics. Now, we're going to get into our initial reactions in just a bit, but for now, let's tackle the blurb on the back. Josh, do you mind?
I don't. Yeah. So for movies, though, should we call it like the blurb on
Blurb on the box?
The box? Yeah. Like the
Yeah,
we'll go
that's
back
fine,
to like VHS tape box.
Yeah, I'm thinking VHS.
Like old
That's
school.
Or DVD, Blu-ray. Yeah, let's do that. The blurb on the box. What's in the
blurb
box?
on the box? All right. It's a brand new day for Peter Parker. Fighting crime full-time as Spider-Man in a world that doesn't remember him, and the pressure of seeing his old friends move on without him sparks a change in Peter he may not have the power to control. But that transformation might also be the only thing that can stop a shocking new threat to the city and those he loves. A powerful villain no one can even see. The world may have forgotten Peter Parker, but he has not forgotten them.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. Without getting spoilery, what did you think of the movie?
What did I think about the movie?
Yeah, I mean, just like honestly, in general thoughts.
Here's a bit of a hot take.
What?
And here's what this is going to go viral and everything too, because of how hot of a take this is.
Okay.
I really liked the movie. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a good Spider-Man movie, and I think it was a great MCU movie. I know, hot take right there, right?
That's I don't know, man. That seems pretty controversial. I think we're gonna get lit up by the fans on that one.
I know. I'm gonna get viral. Oh no! Look what he said. He said he liked the movie. A popular movie already.
The movie has made $1 billion. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I really did enjoy the movie. I thought it was an excellent Spider-Man movie. I thought it was a return to form for the MCU. I like the performances, but I honestly, and this one we'll get into later, I like the emotionality of the film. Like, yeah, all the special effects and all the fighting, that's all great. It means nothing if there's not stakes and emotion behind it. And I thought they did a really good job with that. But
it was very well acted.
Yeah. Oh,
I think
Tommy Hollins was killing it, and so was Zendaya.
Very good. Yeah,
and I want to talk about all that in a little bit, but yeah, I thought there were some great twists and turns, and I did think the performances were great. But before we, like I said, we're going to get into spoilers in just a bit, but let's get into some of the context of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like, what are the sort of like, the origins of the movie in sort of the comic book? Because this ultimately is a comic book show, even if we're talking about a superhero movie. It's funny. I was going through our old scripts and I realized we've actually never done a proper Spider-Man book. We did Ultimate Spider-Man with Gene about a year ago, but that arguably is not the real Spider-Man. It kind of caught me off guard.
Context.
Yeah, especially in this context, which, whatever. I did text you though, and I was like, I was like, man, because for those who don't know, we used to do this show on a platform called Project Alpha. It was a Nerdist and Geek and Sundry video platform about almost 10 years ago. Yeah, almost 10 years ago.
Crazy. It's that long ago.
Yeah, it was that long ago. So we used to do the show. It was more live and, us on screen and all that. But we used to talk about various books. And I was like, dude, I swear we did something Spider-Man related. And you're like, yeah, we did. I mean, that was the last time we actually really did a Spider-Man deep dive, if I recall, right, Josh?
Yeah, we did a couple. We did Spider-Man, which was, that crossover between the first meeting of Miles and
Peter.
616.
616.
Yeah. And then we did Spider-Man.
We did Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I know that.
Yeah. But then we also did, which, I mean, Spider-Man's not even in that at all.
Yeah, I know, but but his name is in the title.
Yeah.
I
it was good because that was during the whole Superior Spider-Man
yeah.
era.
I vaguely
But
remember, but I couldn't find the script for it. I vaguely remember doing Untold Tales of Spider-Man, and when I couldn't find the script for it, I actually had to text you, did we do that book? And you're like,
we did and we didn't. So like we talked about it as like
uh,
a recommendation, and
uh,
we were really into it because we talked about the JMS
see,
John Romita Jr.
yeah,
story,
was
the
it Coming
Moreland
Home?
story.
Yeah, Coming Home
Coming
or
Home,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
dude,
we talked about it because it was very like similar in a sense to that.
I'm gonna pull a little Tracy Morgan. It's like I have no recollection of that moment. Write it up. I'm like I literally don't remember ever cover. I'm sure we did, and I'm sure it happened. Like I know I've had discussions with you about the JMS run and why I like
Yeah.
it. Why there's certain things I don't, but like I literally have no memory of that. Like I don't know if it's just me getting older or just the amount of content I've done over the years. But I was just like, okay, if you say so, I agree. Like it probably
I would put
happened.
money on it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would put money on it.
but I
And
was like,
I haven't made as much content as you, so it's kind of
yeah.
more fresh.
Yeah, probably for that. Anyway, so let's get into Spider-Man, and I'm gonna save a lot of what I normally would go into a deep dive about like what was the origin of Spider-Man, like how originally he was this character called like he was like the Spider, and it was like not John, Jack Kirby originally had drawn him, and then like it just didn't work, and then like Steve Ditko was brought in. It's like I was gonna go into all of this, but I'm gonna save that for when we do a proper Spider-Man book, like Untold
Yeah,
Tales
I
or
agree.
something like that. But just the long short of it, it's created. This book was Spider-Man was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. He made his first appearance in Amazing Fantasy number 15 in 1962. Um, the way I like to look at it is like everyone knows the origin of Peter Parker so much that they didn't even bother to do it for the MCU. Like they're like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Like I love that. Like that's how Homecoming just starts. It's just we don't need to know like radioactive bit me and Uncle Ben and all that. But
Yeah.
I did think about doing like a little like quote unquote thought experiment where I would use Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman approach to telling Spider-Man's origin with basically 8 words and 4 panels. And I want to see if this works for you, Josh. Let me see if you. So it would be radioactive spider in showing Peter getting bitten. Then you'd have the words great power as Peter is, either dismissing the burglar running by or like, in the wrestling ring throwing the wrestler in his first appearance. Then I would say dead uncle with, you see Peter crying as there's a chalk outline of Uncle Ben or Peter raging about it. And then the last words would be great responsibility as Peter realizes the burglar, he's like shaking the burglar who like killed Uncle Ben. You know what I mean? I thought that would be like the Grant Morrison All-Star Superman. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I no, I think that works for sure. It's very succinct, and I would just add, him getting the power. I think you would add that in the radioactive spider,
Yeah,
like,
it's
panel,
it's
right?
a
Like him
yeah,
have
it'd
the
be him biting
superpower
and
or
like,
something.
reacting as,
And
his veins
then
are
you show him
pulsing.
like super strong, like his
Well, that's where I think the great power, like you
yeah.
could do him like literally lifting the wrestler over his head in the wrestling ring or something
Mhm.
like that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, that
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm down. I can I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Fair enough. All
That
right.
was great.
Well, so
And then have
go for it.
no, and then just have the same artist draw those panels too.
Dude, that'd be cool. So the question I want to ask you, like I said before we really get into the movie, is like what makes Spider-Man stand out from virtually every other superhero, or at least every other superhero of that era? Or maybe a better question is like what, and maybe adding on to like what are some Spider-Man traits that kind of define him? I kind of go through that question to you.
Yeah, I think one of the main um, traits, or just what makes Spider-Man so popular,
Mm-hmm.
is his everyman relatability.
Yeah.
In a sense, he started off as a nerd in high school, which, let's be honest, a lot of us who were starting to read comic books were nerds in high school.
How dare you?
I know, right? But also, felt like an outsider. And then with Stanley, I don't know if Stanley said it or it's just become kind of the zeitgeist of Spider-Man, but
Mhm.
you can see yourself behind the mask. Like he's not the billionaire.
Mhm.
Like, he's not the alien from space.
It's not the
He's
professor or the
not
good-looking, reporter or any of that
right.
stuff. Yeah.
He's you and me, or he could be you and me type of thing. Like, you see
Mhm.
yourself as him. So I think that's like one of the biggest like draws and what has made Spider-Man so popular, but
Yeah.
also so uh, everlasting.
Relatable.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
relatability
For
and just
sure.
every man.
Yeah.
What's one of your big ones?
Well, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you just kind of nailed it right there. I mean, that's why I think he appeals to so many people is that he is every one of us. Like you just said, he was a loser and a nerd. He got picked on, and then came into he's got that orphan thing going on as well. So he feels like an outsider as well. Like he doesn't know his true origins and all that. You know, all that. But I think what you just said though is that it's just all that. I think that's what works is that I can if you get into the psychology of the character, that's where I think it's really gets fascinating. I wrote down like in my notes like he's the itsy bitsy spider, and I literally mean that. It's like the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout, down came the rain, washed the spider out, out came the sun. And dried up all the rain, and he climbs up again, and that's literally Spider-Man's like circle of life.
Mhm.
He climbs himself up, he gets kicked back down, and then he somehow like okay, things clear up. He tries to climb back up again, and it's just that cycle: wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. Um, I just think it's interesting that that's no matter how
And
hard he gets hit, he still picks himself up and he gets back up.
that's what makes those Spider-Verse movies so good.
Hmm.
I just in comparison, and what makes this Brand New Day so good too. Like, he gets beaten up and he keeps coming back out of the sense of like responsibility. The great power
Hmm.
must also come great responsibility. And one other big trait that they really honed in on in this movie, and actually I think throughout like all the movies, is the Parker luck.
Hmm.
Like, it's I think it's kind of like a main sentiment for Spider-Man. Like,
Hmm.
he can only be happy for so long.
Yes. Well,
The
again,
Peter luck will always kind of
well, that's the down comes the rain and
root
wash the
out.
spider out, man. He gets knocked
Exactly.
down every single time. Doesn't matter
Like
how
how
good he yeah.
like you're saying, how good he has it in the comics. Like, he's been a CEO of a major
Mhm.
company and then loses that. He had a good spot as a teacher,
Mhm.
loses that. I mean, it like his life is very much hills and valleys.
Yeah. Well, and to me, like ultimately what Spider-Man is it's two things that kind of really define him as well, besides like the Parker luck and the guilt that goes along with everything. Because he is one of the things okay, so I'm not gonna get all off topic, but oftentimes it's discussed like who is the better hero, Spider-Man or Batman, because they're arguably some of the biggest heroes of all time. And the thing is, like Batman had his his future pushed upon him. Like he is a victim of the burglar, not the burglar, whatever, not the burglar,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Just crime.
yeah, he's
Gotham
a victim
crime.
of crime. Yeah, he had no he was not an active participant in that. He was literally just a victim, and he is affected by that. He grows up, he's stunted. Spider-Man, on the other hand, or Peter Parker specifically, he chose not to stop the burglar who eventually killed his Uncle Ben, and he has to live with that guilt for the rest of his life. Knowing like I
Mhm.
didn't do that. I was being greedy. I was being selfish. I wasn't living up to my full potential, and I let this man kill my loved one, and now I get to live with that. And now I get to have that guilt with me for the rest of my life. It's like, well, what if I don't go out and save everybody? Like, how could that affect somebody else? Or how could that affect Aunt May? Or how could that affect MJ? Like, he constantly has that guilt in the back of his head. And you see that very much in this movie where he's just constantly going and going and going. And I thought they did a good job in that film doing that, and I think that's a big part of this sort of Spider-Man identity. The other thing I was going to say is like actual Spider-Man comics are about two things. I'd say number one, ultimately Spider-Man is about growing from youth and maturing into an adult. You know what I mean? If you look at where he starts, Spider-Man as a high schooler being picked on by essentially Archie and Betty and Veronica, all of them, and grows into like college student, and then starts getting, having dating and romance, and then eventually falls in love and has the love taken away from him. And then change, like you said, he has different jobs and he gets married, and he almost has a kid. It's like it's about growing and maturing and evolving into being a man. And that's where we're going to have a big discussion about that, where I think the comics have really stalled out or they've had a problem. But the other thing too about Spider-Man is about his secret identity. He is so scared that if his identity goes out, it's going to come back and affect the people he knows. It's going to come back and kill Aunt May. It's going to come back and kill, Harry, or it's going to come back and kill Gwen, or it's going to come back and kill. And we've seen time and time again, anytime his identity gets out there, stuff goes sideways. So he's all about protecting that secret identity. And I think that's kind of the key, components of like a Spider-Man comic or a Spider-Man story. What do you think on that, Josh?
Yeah, I agree in a sense of like the identity and the sense of responsibility, because
Yeah.
he has that Superman responsibility. Every punch that I take is a punch somebody innocent doesn't take.
Yeah.
And the irony of anytime his secret identity is he's very protective of it, because like you said, every time it cuts out or somebody finds it out, then that's someone he loves gets hurt or dies. And I mean, his secret identity is so protective that Norman Osborn had to try to take his whole reasoning for taking over Shield and turning a hammer is to try to get the secret identity of Spider-Man. So that's why in some moments it was so surprising. That happens throughout his history as well. So it's just, I think with Spider-Man, what makes just his comic, or just again him as a superhero, just to kind of wrap this part up, is that it's the best way to put it is just it's the undying struggle of being a hero while trying to be yourself. And
well, and that's why I think you get into that sort of dual identity too.
Yeah, but meaning like the amount of sacrifices he has to make because of that sense of responsibility to be a hero, it leaves no room for Peter Parker, which heroes like Batman, it's not a sacrifice to Batman, if that makes sense.
No.
Where it is one to Spider-Man.
Well, half of why Spider-Man works as well is because there is that Peter Parker side. Like, you do want to know who he's dating or what is going on in his social life and his family life. You know what I mean? Like Aunt May and J. Jonah Jameson and Mary Jane and Harry and all of them, they're just as integral to the cast or to his story as he is. If you remove them from the equation, it's just like, okay, it's a dude in his underoos when spinning across the sky. And like, again, as we talked about with this film, you have to have those characters so you have the emotional element, or else it's just frosting. It's just whipped cream. You know what I mean? And I think that's where Spider-Man does well, is it does have such a great diverse cast of characters, that he's constantly worried about, like, well, if they find out or that he get hurt or poor Aunt May or blah, 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 so,
and it's also just the whole part of him keeping them safe hurts them in other ways. So
yes. Well, that's because he's always late for dinner. He's always like never showing up. Oh, it's like
also the perpetual lie that he has to keep his identity as Spider-Man away from them as well. So
yeah.
It's either way, he's hurting somebody, whether intentional or unintentional or intentional, and in a sense of like he has to pick and choose.
So, as you said, we don't really need to belabor this point too much, but we can move on to sort of the brief history, like sort of the major moments of Peter Parker. We're going to just kind of run through this because, like, you do need to know how this applies into the film a little bit. As we mentioned, he does go to high school. That's where he's bitten by the radioactive spider. He's kind of picked on by everybody. By the time he gets to college, though, he does form like friendship units, like, Flash, who was the bully who picked on him by the time they get to college, they're actually best friends, which is, again, it shows that growth of character. Like, that was the thing, is Spider-Man was an evolving character. He did, his relationships change. He grew up. You don't just see him perpetually stuck as a high schooler. It's like, he evolves. Kind of like we were talking about with Superman last time we did that the Supergirl movie. Like, Superman essentially is like a static character, whereas like Supergirl like grew and evolved and went to school, and like you see that with Spider-Man. And he goes to college, like I said. Eventually, like I said, there's the whole fall with Gwen Stacy, and his love is lost and killed by his arch nemesis, and then he eventually gets married to Mary Jane. Eventually they were gonna have a kid, and then Marvel's like, no, we can't have him with a kid. Like, that's crazy talk. You're like, what are you insane?
That would never work, right?
It's not like Spider-Girl comic went for over 100 plus issues or anything. It's whatever.
They keep trying to do these Elseworlds about it.
Yeah, I know. It's not like Mayday Parker is just phenomenal, and that's going to tie into something else in just a moment. But, during that era, the marriage era with Mary Jane, we also got the Spider Clone saga, which, again, is like the whole thing about your identity kind of blowing up all around you. You get into Civil War, which is where he literally outs himself for Iron Man. Like, I'm Peter Parker, and I approve this message. Of course, that, as we mentioned, his identity being out there, it just brings a storm of bullcrap on him. You know what I mean? Like, literally, I forget who it is. I think it's like, is it not? It's not Tombstone, but maybe it was one of those. It's one of those mafiosos. They basically take a shot at him, and it ends up hitting Aunt May. He was a Kingpin. Thank you.
It's Kingpin. Yep.
Yeah. He takes a shot at Peter Parker, and it hits Aunt May. And guess what? Aunt May is now on death's door. And boy, howdy. So this leads into one of the most infamous storylines. I wouldn't say controversial. I think this is straight up just fans infamous? Did not. Yeah, tell me a fan who actually liked One More Day.
I was just about to ask you, have you ever heard of anybody liking One More Day?
Literally, I just went through all of I'm going to read, just double check this. So I'm going to say this, and then we'll get into like the actual what happened in One More Day for all the people who have not read this. The only highlight to all of it is that, well, the art was good. That's it.
And the art was mostly by the person who perpetrated this whole thing, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, that is correct. It's all Joe Quesada. There are other like little things that people did like. So, in case you don't know, Josh, do you want to tackle this, or do you want me to?
I don't know if we even want to tell people what happened, but basically, so it's based from what happened. We just said about the aftermath of Civil War. Somebody takes a shot at Peter, but it misses and hits Aunt May, and she is dying. But to help save Aunt May, Spider-Man inevitably, gets help from Mephisto. So that I think that is also the reason why there were so many rumors about Mephisto throughout, all the other Spider-Man movies before.
Yeah.
But so he goes to Mephisto. Mephisto says, "I'll save you, but you know what? I'm going to take away your marriage to Mary Jane." And Peter says yes, and then Mephisto does it, and that is One More Day. So that's the ins and outs of one more day.
So long and short of it is, why would Mephisto want to take the marriage of Mary Jane? He's like, I'm not interested in your soul. I just want your marriage. I'm going to erase it from continuity, basically. And not only will I do that, I'll bring your Aunt May back to life, and everyone will forget your identity, and all I want is your marriage. And that's it. And this had a twofold effect, because this is what editorial, when I say editorial, I mean mostly Joe Quesada. He didn't like Mary Jane and Peter Parker being married. He liked Peter being a swinging bachelor and having dating problems, basically rolling the clock back 20 to 30 years and regressing the character, And honestly, like I said, as I kind of brought up earlier, like the whole point of Peter Parker is you see him grow and mature, and to regress him is like, cool. So all that growth he had, getting married and having marital problems, having a miscarriage essentially with his wife, and all these other things, like, yeah, no, it's like you could have just got them divorced. You could have just had them separate. You could have, quote unquote, killed Mary Jane, and then turns out she went into hiding. There's any number of ways, but no, let's have a deal with the devil with a character that literally Spider-Man has never interacted with. And
Not
all
at
that
all.
character never. It was like, wait, why is Mephisto in this story? And why is he? And it wasn't until like 2020, because this happened like in 2007, I want to say. It was until 2020 when they realized, oh, the whole reason he wanted the marriage is because by doing that, it ensured that Mary Jane and him would have a kid, because that kid, Mayday Parker, would have stopped Mephisto in the future at some point. That was the retcon they gave to why Mephisto.
That's so stupid.
I'm glad they at least gave the reasoning, 15 years later, but it was like, that's still stupid. Like, it was so,
Yeah.
and the long and short is, just editorial wanted him to be a swinging bachelor. And it's just like, go screw yourself. I'm sorry. Like, that was the most ham-fisted, stupidest way. It was so bad that the writer Straczynski wanted his name taken off the last few issues. It's like, I don't want my name associated with this. And eventually he was like, look, all right, I'm going to walk the company line. Because he was like, well, might as well just do it. Joe Quesada's going to do it. And he was like, oh, I don't think they shouldn't have gotten separated. I just didn't agree with the way we went about doing it. Well, no kidding. The thing is, like, as I just said, like, no fans wanted this. No one was like, yeah, let's get, it's like, cool. So he's just going to perpetually spin his wheels as a single bachelor again? Like, that's not cool. I don't know. Even Superman got married. Even Superman has a kid.
Yeah. But it's funny. It's like, it's the meta version of the Parker look.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Like, even,
you're not. Yeah, you're right.
Even the universe is like, the real life universe is against him.
Yeah.
But then that One More Day moves on to Brand New Day, which
is basically
the movie comes from.
Yeah. It's sort of the initiative, that Marvel Comics had with Spider-Man. It's like, hey, it's a brand new day for him. And to be fair, One More Day was horse manure. Brand New Day is a very good era of Spider-Man. Like, at least they did not screw the pooch with that. Like, those are some really good comics. I went back and read a bunch before we did this. I'm like, these are fun. It's sad that you threw away 20 plus years of continuity, but I will say, if you can look at them just in the context of themselves, they are fun stories. They're absolutely fun, well written, well drawn for the most part, really good creative teams. Because they basically at the time, there was like Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man. There was like 4 or 5 different, and they basically consolidated all into one book, just the Amazing Spider-Man, and put it out 3 times a month, and basically rotated the creative teams. Like, Dan Slott's going to do it for 6 issues, then Mark Waid's going to do these ones, and then Zeb Wells is going to do these ones, and then Mark Guggenheim's going to do these ones, and they just kind of, Joe Kelly's going to do these, so they just kind of rotated them through, I will say,
it was like, to me, it's like, analogy for me is it's like drinking the your favorite orange juice, but right after you brushed your teeth. So it's one thing poison the water of the really good thing that's after.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just, it's so hard to like separate the two. You know what I mean? It's like, it really is hard. I mean, the fact that even Day is in both of them, it's like, it's hard. I like I said, 20 years later after the fact, like I said, I'm able to go through and just read the Brand New Day stories as them. So I'm like, yeah, these are not bad. They're totally fun. They're, it's again, it's sad. Like, to me, like, there's so many ways they could have done it. And Joe Quesada's whole thing against, oh, well, I don't want to get divorced because that means true love really lost. I'm like, okay, so the devil did it?
What are you talking about, man? That's so.
But there would have been
come on, man.
Because he literally is like, well, they're still in love. They still love each other. It's just they're not married now. I'm like, cool, great.
Baloney.
Because and again, I keep bringing up the Superman analogy. It's like Superman, he's been kind of a static character, but it's like, even now it's like, he's now a father. They got married. He has a kid. He's a father. And he's learning the next steps of being a superhero while raising his son. I don't agree that they should aged him up. They shouldn't have done that. But it's like, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what you want to see, because eventually they do, in an alternate, the MC2, which is we do see what would happen if Peter Parker did have a daughter and where she would have gone. And man, those stories are so much fun. And I love seeing Peter Parker being a mentor to her. You know what I mean? And it's also like, it's not like Ultimate Spider-Man wasn't going on at the same time. It's like, if you wanted your swinging Bachelor Spider-Man, there you go. You know what I mean? It's right there.
You've wanted it back to roots.
Yeah. You can have your cake and eat it too. Lo and behold.
Yeah. It,
So
it was a very weird editorial choice, and
yeah.
something. It was a weird soap hill that he was willing to die on, and
Mhm.
it really tanked Spider-Man for a while after that.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. Like I said, if you actually read, if you can separate one more day from Brand New Day reads very well. It's actually very entertaining. It's very fun. It's just like you just said. It's hard to like enjoy orange juice when you just brushed your teeth, you know. But I
Mhm.
think with time, we've gone farther enough apart from it that it's still enjoyable. Um, we're gonna get to the movie in just a moment, but I want to talk like about Spider-Man just another little bit more before we get into it. Where does Spider-Man rank in terms of like superheroes for you, Josh? Like where is he on your tier of, top Spider or not top Spider-Man, but top heroes? So I imagine he's got to be
I
up
th-
there.
and no, I think he's very, very much, one of my favorite superheroes of all time. He's kind of like the
Yeah.
original one that got me into comics a little bit.
Mhm.
So it's,
Yeah.
um, it just the his costume always looked cool. His humor and his powers all rolled into one has made him like
Mhm.
one of my favorites and a lot of other people's favorites.
Yeah. Clearly, I
Because
mean,
you
movie made $1
constantly
billion.
hear, yeah. But I mean, just as a character itself, like you
Yeah.
constantly hear that Superman is boring,
Mhm.
or Batman is too the same, or you don't really hear, for good or for bad, you never hear that Spider-Man is boring. Like his storylines have been, yes, good,
Yeah,
yes, bad,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
people are still talking. It's like it's the whole
Yeah.
adage
Well,
about wrestling. It's like you want people. The worst thing the worst thing you can have is it's not that people are booing you. It's that there's
mhm.
people that not even talking
They
about
don't
you
engage.
or
It's the
silence.
yeah, it's the good versus bad. It's like be good, be bad, but be something. Don't be mediocre.
Exactly. Or again, you never get that argument or somebody saying, like Spider-Man is he's just boring. He's a boring character.
You
I
know,
don't think I've ever heard that.
No, and I agree with you, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier. It's like that's why one of the reasons we like him is because he has matured. I mean, you look at a Spider-Man comic from the '60s, and you look at a Spider-Man comic in the '90s, and it's like you can see the growth of character. I remember, like vividly, like a lot of those '90s books. It's like Mary Jane's got a smoking problem; they got to deal with that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I like that there were problems in his life. There were relatable problems, and he was slowly, and because again, it's that sliding scale of Marvel timeline where it's like, even though the book started in the '60s, like, oh, only 5 years has progressed, but it's like there is a subtle growth over that 30-year time period. It's small because, it's like one issue a month or whatever, but it's like you do see him grow and grow up. It's like the fact that, like, again, Flash Thompson in the comics was like his arch nemesis. And like by the time they get to college, like they are best friends. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that kind of stuff is cool, And I hate to say that about Superman, like at least initially, he doesn't have that kind of growth. It's like
It took a long time for it to get even some growth. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, the will, because like even like when he got married to Lois, people like, oh, well, what's the point of Superman? Is the whole will they, won't they, the love triangle, and like it's like no,
Mhm.
you can do the thing where like you have something happen, and then what are the actions of that, and like well that leads to new problems and creates new problems, and guess what? If eventually it gets too stale or whatever. You can retcon the whole thing and do a Secret Wars and suddenly, or an Ultimate Spider-Man or Absolute Superman or what. There's so many ways you can
Or
just
Mephisto.
yeah. Well, that again, not really. I mean, like,
Yeah, no, yeah.
just create a new line. But yeah, I agree with you though. I think that Spider-Man is one of my top characters. If not, like, I mean, I'm a big X-Men guy, and I've slowly started shifting from Marvel to DC. I'd definitely say I'm more Superman than anything else lately. But I would
Mhm.
say
I wonder
he is
why.
Spider-Man. If I wonder why, I would say Spider-Man traditionally has been my number one hero, or at least my top three. You know what I mean? Traditionally,
Yeah, I read somewhere too. Like I think a lot of people's too, because I read somewhere that now, as a property, Spider-Man
Mhm.
is the
The
second
number two
largest
Disney, yep, right
Disney
behind Mickey Mouse.
property. Mickey Mouse,
Mhm.
nuts. That is absolutely
That's insane.
nuts.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's That's insane. I just saw that thing
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, there's a reason why he has a float in the Macy's Day Parade for so long. There's a reason why they built that whole original Marvel team up around him.
Yeah.
I remember
Yep.
getting those big essential
Yeah.
books of the Marvel team ups, and it was him in every issue.
Well, there's a reason he could carry, and I mean this, could carry 4 to 5 books a month. Like, he
Yeah,
literally in the '90s, it was amazing, Web of, Spectacular, and then Adjectiveless, and then Spider-Man Unlimited, and that didn't include all his crossovers into other books like Morbius or the X-Men or Spider-Man Team Up or whatever else was going on, at the
eventually
time.
the Avengers.
Yeah, the eventually Avengers or, even just like the Deadly Foes of Spider-Man and all that. Like,
Yeah,
the dude, was second only to the X-Men in terms of sales, in terms of comics, I mean, the dude was one of the biggest and is arguably one of the biggest superheroes of all time, and, and that kind of leads us into the movie. Like I said, it made over $1 billion in less than a week. Where does
Mm.
where does this movie line up for you? How do you rank it against, I don't want to say the other properties because I hate to say it. It kind of goes at least for me, MCU, Spider-Man, Toby Spider-Man, and then Andrew Garfield. Although
Mm.
I really loved Andrew Garfield in the last one. The
Yeah, well, the redemption,
yeah,
the No
his
Way Home is
redemption.
his redemption for sure.
Oh god, he
That's
was like
why
he was a high.
I would
Go
love
ahead.
to see him as the to come back in Secret Wars.
Yeah, I would kill for that. He nailed that. He nailed that. Where did this movie rank against well, now the other 3 films in the series?
Oh, it's just through MCU movies.
Yeah. Yeah, just the MCU Spider-Man films. I guess you
I
can
think it's
include some
number.
more. Yeah. Yeah, might as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna just do the Spider-Man movies, and I think it's
Sounds good.
number 2 for me.
Okay.
I like No Way Home a lot. I'm one of those
Yeah.
people that just like No Way Home a lot. I'm a I'm a sheep. I'm a
Are you sheep? You liked a good movie. How dare
no, no,
you?
no. I'm just like I'm a cameo whore. That's what kind
Oh,
of
okay.
No Way Home was a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
But um, I mean, because it's
Yeah.
funny too. Of just I bet Charlie Cox is like, of course, the one MCU movie I'm in, they bring back these other guys
Yeah.
that overshadow my cameo. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but what about you?
I'm the same boat. I honestly think this is probably number 2. Like, I thought Homecoming was great, and, I forgot what the second one was called.
N- uh, yeah, what was it?
That's
What
I
was
mean,
it
like, and
called?
don't get me wrong, that's
I
the
can't tell
Mysterio
you.
one, which I actually
Yeah,
I totally enjoy them. Like, they're B plus or better, you know what I mean? But I remember even, like, watching No Way Home, and I was like, you're like, "What did you do not say a word to me." I'm like, "All I'm gonna say to you, Josh, is," and you know me, I'm a pretty harsh critic at times. I was like,
yeah.
"I effing loved it. I effing loved it," and, like,
Far
it
From
hit
Home.
me. Yeah, far from it was like, it hit me in the gut. Like, I was like, "That was a good movie," and this one is just a hair under it, I would say. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's me.
Yeah, I mean, this one did have a lot of the emotional
Mhm.
moments that the No Way Home did,
Yeah.
for sure, and a lot of
And
the
a lot
fun
of that,
moments.
I was saying a lot of that was on the shoulders of Holland and Zendaya in this one, as opposed to
Hmm.
No Way Home, which relied so much more on, like, the Toby and the Andrew Garfield of it all as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
what would you rank it though overall of all Spider-Man movies?
oh, you mean, like, with all when Toby's and Garfield's
Toby
and all
and yeah, maybe yeah.
I'd
I
s
mean,
I'd still put it, like, probably number 2 or 3. I think Spider-Man 2 with Toby
yeah,
is probably the best of the original Raimi
that's my
trilogy.
favorite one too.
Yeah, and I hold that one pretty high. I'd say that, but I hate to say, but these 2 edge out. I think that these did such a good job that, and
Mm,
well, we're about to hit spoilers in just a moment, but, like, I think these did such a good job of integrating the MCU without being ham-fisted. It felt like a comic book movie that wore itself on its sleeve without, like, being wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It was like, we are a comic book movie and we are
mhm.
proud of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, you know what I mean? So, um, that's just me. I'd say probably number 2. I'd say, No Way Home is number 1, this is number 2, and then I put
Mm,
Spider-Man 2 with Toby is number 3.
mm. Yeah, no,
Being honest, I
I
mean,
think I'm good with that. I'm good with that ranking. Yeah, for sure.
Because here's the thing, I'm gonna be honest. Like,
you know,
what am I gonna go back and watch again? What will I go back and watch again? I will watch these again.
And just be clear too, like we're talking about live action movies because when you bring in Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, that's when I kind of Into the Spider-Verse is probably my favorite one of all.
The game has changed. Into the Spider-Verse is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I straight up teared up when the first Peter Parker goes, and then when Peter B. Parker shows up, I'm like, Peter B. Parker is my spirit animal.
yeah. Oh, I mean, well, we saw it at the same time in theaters. The first one, and then it was a couple of months after Stan Lee died, and they had the cameo. It was just like, oh my goodness. It was very dusty in that theater. I don't know what was going on with my eyes.
Someone's cutting onions next to us.
Hay fever. Yeah, it was. I know it was weird too. It's like, dude, you're cutting full on onions in a theater. They're not going to try to kick you out. But yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, live action.
Yes. Well, as we said, we were going to try and keep it spoiler free, but we are now hitting the spoiler discussion for the movie. Josh, we do the big one, right?
Yeah, we talked about all the context, and now we're getting right into the nitty gritty of the movie. So, most likely from all the box office, you have seen it, but if you haven't, pause, go see it, and then come back.
Yeah, perfect. Are you still here?
Yeah.
Great.
All
right. First things first, Josh. What were the highlights? What was like? You know, some of your favorite moments. Let's just go back and forth. What was our favorite moments?
Yeah.
You go first.
Favorite moments exactly.
It doesn't mean moments exactly. Just whatever. What just like struck you? Like, what was the thing that did it for you?
One of my favorite things first was the back and forth with Punisher and Peter. I thought it was very much like a older brother, younger brother.
Okay. I have issue with that, but we will get into that later. It was one of the few things I did not actually like about the movie, believe it or not.
Oh, I loved it.
That's fine. Hey, again, that's the thing about art. It is subjective. Interesting. Okay. What was there just, you just like that kind of dynamic that they had?
Yeah, I like the back and forth. I like the dynamic. I like between the two actors too, because of their, that their history with each other kind of was on screen as well. And it was a good, it was like an older brother, little brother thing.
Yeah. I know a lot of people did like it. I guess I'm one of the few people who did not actually like that. I felt,
I was talking about highlights. So that shit on my highlight. Let's just talk about your highlight.
Okay, well, no, I was going to open it up for debate. But okay.
We'll go into it later. Yeah, but like we said, go rapid fire highlights before we.
Okay. Well, I mean, rapid fire, but I mean, let's talk about what we like. As I mentioned earlier, I really love the emotional nature of the film. And I mean like the good moments and the bad moments. Like one of my favorite moments, I literally gasped when it's like when he's up on the roof with Mary Jane and she's like, I knew there's something about you and Peter, and the kiss, and you're like, yes, and then now she's like, you're so stupid, and you're just like, no,
yeah.
Like you see it coming, but at the same time when it happens, you're just like, gut punch. You're just like, oh, that poor guy. And Zendaya is so good in that too. She twists she turns on a dime right there. You know what I mean? Like
she did so very good. Yeah. And
to be fair, go ahead.
The subtleties of it was really good.
I was to say, whoever was the director in terms of like all of the people did such a great job being like Sadie Sink or Jean Grey, like they all were like her. You know what I mean? When she's hopping from body to body to body, and they're just like, they're just her. I was like, all of them did a great job. You know what I mean? Like they were so good at like being so. Even Barenthal, when he like turns into her, like I was like, oh, he nailed that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And speaking of like the emotionality too, of just like the how Tom Holland really was portraying that loneliness, especially when he sees Ned. It's like he just wants to hang out with his best friend again.
Best friend, yeah.
The when they're just hanging out and building out the Lego, he's just like, I'm finally kind of like with my people, and it was just a great kind of that longing kind of look of just like, I just want to hang out with my friend.
Yeah, it's just like back in old times, man. Yeah. Another great moment was And honestly, Sadie Sink is great. So is Marissa Tomei. The scene that both basically Jean Grey and Aunt May have together in sort of the mind palace
Yeah,
of
that's
Peter
very good.
Parker. I was just like, I remember like just like with Aunt May, just like telling us like you're special and people are gonna hate you. It's just like the speech she gives to her, and just like breaks down her barriers right there.
Mhm.
My son was like, "Why are you crying, Dad?" Like literally he's sitting next to me. And he's just like and the first thing he says when we get home, my mom's like, she's like, "Oh, how'd you like the movie?" It's like, Dad was crying. I was like,
Oh,
"Shut up,
okay.
dude."
Like, shut up, you jerk.
I was like, "Yeah." My mom was like, "What is that all about?" I was like, if for some reason it just hit me that, that paternal figure telling you it's gonna be all right,
Yeah.
it's all that you it's as even I'm an adult and I've got 2 kids and like sometimes you just want to hear from somebody it's gonna be okay and you're gonna be all right. And
Right.
it's for some reason it hit hard. And I was like, she's only in it for that scene. It was like, Tomei, good job. You know what I
Nailed
mean?
it. Yeah.
Nailed it. You just came in, shot your shot, and walked out, Good job.
Mhm.
Um,
I also liked, when Peter was getting grossed out by his new powers because I thought that was just very funny. Like the organic web shooters when he
yeah.
was trying to, he was gagging when it was coming out.
Yeah.
This is like, oh, like that was just a funny moment. That was one
It's
of my
great.
favorites.
Well, it's funny you should say because another one of mine was when he faces off against the hand ninjas and like there's
Uh-huh.
that first jump where they all kind of like jump off each other and it's like and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then Tom Holland immediately says, oh, that's cool. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
that's cool. Because
yeah.
literally I'm like, I remember like I'm so that's cool. And like literally Tom Holland, that's cool. I was like, all right, good. We're on the
We're
same
on the
page
same
here.
way. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. I did like the Hulk stuff too. I thought that was really
Mm,
fun and cool to see Hulk fighting Spider-Man, who's never
mm,
fought somebody like that before. So,
mhm.
and then the emotional look that he had it towards before he
Oh,
changed, I thought it was great.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
could recognize who it was a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like, I don't know if you read the Century comics at all.
A little bit.
In the Century comics, when
Oh
they
yeah,
initially
yeah,
pitched they pitched out the character, like, no one remembers who the Sentry is, with the exception of the Hulk. The monster remembers the Sentry. He's like, "Hulk
right.
friend," it's like, there's something like that, like, when he gets into that mode where he's still, like, he retains something or he's not privy to the laws of physics or mental telepathy or whatever, you know what I mean? And so I wonder if I doubt that there's any connection there, but I would argue, like, it's kind of reminiscent of that moment.
Yeah, I
Um,
for sure, for sure.
I was gonna
I
say
also
to
like
that
the.
end. Oh, go ahead, please.
No, I'm sorry. You go. I was jumping on yours.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say to that end, that was the other thing I really loved about this movie is it was an unabashed it felt like it was the MCU, but nothing felt shoehorned or pushed
Mhm.
in or shoved in for, like, later on. You could argue maybe the Black Widow stuff with Yelena was, like, a little forced, but overall, like, all of the MCU stuff in the film felt organic and natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I like the Black Widow stuff because yeah, you could make the argument that it was a little forced, but it wasn't like he's not meeting her in Avengers Tower
Uh-huh.
when she's in full
Mhm,
Black Widow or like on a
mhm,
rooftop and they're all like
mhm,
all in full Black Widow um like espionage. It's like it's very
mhm,
true to the Yelena character, which is very
mhm,
weird and quirky but also smart. Um
mhm.
the Spider-Man, Black Widow, Spider, and spiders talking to each other. Um,
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
made that little connection
Well, I mean,
myself.
like, no, Black Widow, like, literally bases the original Black Widow from the comics, Natasha, she bases a lot of her gear on Spider-Man, like, like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a known thing, like,
Hmm.
not a lot of her gear, but some of her gear on on Spider-Man stuff like that. Her, like, little claw thing is, like, basically web shooters and all
Right,
that
I was
kind of
about to
stuff.
say, yeah, she has kind of like that Batman claw
Yeah,
um
yeah.
line. Uh,
Um Before I interrupted, but you were saying, like, before that when you, quote, unquote, "jumped on me." What were you gonna also bring up? I'm sorry.
I know I thought the bad guys were good in this one. Like it's like kind of finally what we were thinking damage control was going to be. Um,
Mhm.
I liked that, and I liked the head guy of Damage Control. I thought he was
Oh, the dude
like a
from
good swarmy
Severance.
guy. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a good
Oh,
swarmy guy.
he play well. So he's so swarmy. Like, yeah, he's the bad guy. Like, I'm
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
bad
definitely.
guy. It's very clear. Like, he's the bad guy. We know it's him. Like, why are we dancing around this? Uh,
Right.
that said, I hadn't seen any spoilers. I hadn't watched. I think I watched like one trailer. Like, I had like
Mhm.
kind of like stood away from this film just because, like I said, I been doing this for years. I'm kind of good with not having to deep dive everything. So when it actually got into it, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I was literally like, I don't know who the villain is. I was racking my brain. I'm like, like, who could be the villain of this? It's obviously, I'm like, that's not Madam Web. Like, they wouldn't do that. Like, I was like,
Mhm.
literally going like, I'm like, I don't know who this could be. So when Jean Grey pops up on the screen, I literally gasped. I was like,
You were the only
what?
one. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's kind of funny because she had been
I
rumored to be that for. It was never
oh wow.
confirmed until the movie, but
Uh-huh.
she had been rumored as it was like kind of like the worst kept
The
secret.
worst
It seemed like
secret, yeah. I
that's who
gasped.
that person on the red carpet
Oh, revealed.
spoiled. Yeah, he's like,
Oh
oh my,
God.
I like Jean Grey. Like, what? Excuse me.
Oh,
Oh,
excuse me?
and
Wow.
so how did you feel in that moment? Just on
I
like how many
I
different levels?
in my brain, like my producer side of my brain, like, like I was like, it started went into overdrive. I'm like, oh my God, does this mean Professor X going to show up? Like, what could this be? I'm like,
Right.
and like, I was literally, I'm like, it's got to be your sister, right? Because like her sister died. It's like, that would be the emotional thing. She's too young. Like, literally, like all of the gears start like firing. Just like, oh my, it could it be
Yeah,
this? Could it be that? They're not going to Professor X show up. That would make no sense. It's not going to be Professor Stewart. So it's got to be, well, I literally went through like, it's got to be the sister. It's got to be the sister. That's all I could think of at this age before she's with the X-Men. It's got to be her. I mean, wait, the sister's got to be dead then. Like I'm going through all of it, and even
yeah.
like when the last scene when she's on the bus and you kind of see, I'm like, she's heading to Westchester. She's going. I'm like, well,
That's
it
what I
doesn't make
thought
sense.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like,
I thought she was heading to Westchester. I thought I would have loved to see like the end credit scene. It just
yeah.
her being dropped off at the bus stop, and you just see a wheelchair roll to her. That's all.
One of the things I wish they had always done, and this is something I pitched out when I was at ERS, is like one of the I would have loved if like after like Far From Home or whatever, if like the closing sequence would have been like he got a letter. It's like you've been accepted to the Xavier Institute
Right.
for Higher Learning. I would have lost my mind. You know what I mean? Like that would have been like the perfect way to suddenly say the X-Men are here. Because
Mhm.
Spider-Man has tangentially always been involved in the X-Men. It's like, is he a mutant? Is he not? He kind of isn't. Like he's not at all, but like he's always been kind of tangential to the X-Men in a weird way.
Right.
So, yeah, when Jean Grey showed up though, I genuinely like audibly gasped. My son was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Come on, we gotta start watching X-Men '97, dude." That's all I said.
Yeah, you do for sure. I said in the last episode, that was my recommend last episode. You
Yeah,
definitely need to watch it.
yeah. And so I guess
Mhm.
that ties into the camp. It's like it felt organic though. Because it's funny because like kind of like Mephisto is not a thing that shows up in Spider-Man. Jean Grey
Mhm.
is not a character that ever interacts with Spider-Man. For some reason, it absolutely worked in this case. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it was good acting and it was a good surprise. But it's like, oh, I buy this. I buy what's going on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I know for sure. It wasn't too out of left field.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it worked for me. Yeah, there, like I said, the all of that stuff worked. It just worked. There's a few things I again I have issue with. I'm like, oh, they didn't resolve that or whatever. It's like also like
Mhm.
Jean Grey literally let an old man get hit by a car. That's kind of murder.
That's
Like,
that's what I was gonna talk about. The things we would have changed,
oh, okay.
something like that. But before we get into that kind of stuff, though, too, like I did really like him working with the cops.
Jean DeWolf it actually was in my notes.
Yeah,
Which I was like when they were like, "Oh, Jean DeWolf," I'm like, "Oh, she's dead." I was like,
yeah, right, right.
like literally, it's like it was it's the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen. She's gonna die. I know. And it's like, oh,
Right,
like,
right.
I was like, she's gonna die.
She's gonna be the emotional twist of it, and then, but thankfully
Yeah,
she didn't, because I mean, and the actress did really good. The actress from The Bear,
straight Shiva from the
she was,
Bear. Yeah, she's great.
and she didn't have like a lot to do in a sense of like, yeah, hey, I'm the contact to Spider Man, but she still was like
Yeah,
very good at it. If that makes sense, like she was very the lack of a better word, like kind of like motherly to him.
Well, it's because he lost his mother
Yeah,
figure in the last film.
exactly.
Yeah. It's funny because, I feel like, she's essentially filling in for Captain Stacy because I'm sure they don't wanna put the Stacys in at this point, like, what's the point of
Yeah.
having Gwen, and her dad in here? Which, for spoilers for those who haven't read it, but, like, Jean DeWolf will die at some point. It dies pretty quickly in the comics, and so did Captain Stacy, so it's like, I hate to say it, but yeah, her time on this, planet isn't probably, for long. But yeah,
Yeah.
I really did like that, and I liked also, like, the other thing, and it reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse, like, when he does get shot by the Punisher and everyone's outside cheering him on. It's like New York. It's like he is your
Mhm.
friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like, despite what the Daily Bugle says and whatever they're saying on the TV, like, Spider-Man is a hero of the people. He's a man of the people. And, like, the people recognize how important Spider-Man is to the city. Like, the fact that, like, I love that moment. It reminded, like, going back to the end of the Spider-Verse, so when or not Peter A, but the
Yeah.
the first Spider-Man dies and New York just comes out like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
he was
With
he
the
was our
vigil
he
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, he was our hero." Like, it had that vibe, and I genuinely, like, choked up a little bit. Like, I was like, "That's right.
Yeah.
That's why we love Spider-Man,"
For
So
sure. I agree. It was a it's they had those type of moments too in the Raimi films.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um and
"You leave
and
Spider-Man
in the
alone."
yeah, or even in the Garfield one where the
Mhm.
whole just helping him out. So yeah, it's definitely like Spider-Man is New York, as New
Mhm.
York is to Spider-Man.
Yeah. I did love that he
So
had a New York Mets, pennant in his room, not a New York
yeah.
Yankees. I'm like, yeah, he'd be a Mets guy. 100% he's a Mets guy.
Well, yeah, 'cause I think it's like a Queens thing. Like, I think
Yeah,
if people from Queens I could
yeah,
be completely wrong. I don't know, but
yeah, no, he's a
I
Mets
don't
guy,
really know that
period.
dynamic.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
Spider-Man's a Mets guy.
Yeah,
Perpetual losing.
both in fandom, yeah, 'cause I was about to say both in fandom and just in vibe, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Again, like, I don't wanna poo-poo anything. It's like all the fight sequences and the chase. It reminded me the other thing I was gonna say, it really reminded me a lot of the Spider-Man video game, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
The PlayStation, like,
they were inspired by it for
oh, I'm sure.
Tom Holland was saying they were inspired and pulled some stuff from that.
Yeah, you could feel it. You could feel it. Like, it's like from the web swinging to the combat to all that stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, they got that. Like, it worked. It worked.
Yeah,
Um,
the director, David Kristen, I mean, from this and Shang-Chi, I think
mhm.
he really knows how to do that type of choreography, directing, and
Yeah,
movie, so
yeah. Well, there's a reason they canceled Wonder Man 2, and he's gonna go do, Shang-Chi 2 next. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or
hey,
whatever
I'm
he's
fine
gonna
with
do
that.
next.
Even I liked Wonder Man, and I hopefully he comes up and stuff, but, I mean, if we get a
I
Shang-Chi 2 out of it, I'm okay with that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, Disney's made it very clear that, the problem, and I think it was Feige talked about, is like, they didn't have the cross pollination they were hoping for with the TV and the movie. Like, people are like, who's that? Like, it's like you had to
Yeah,
watch WandaVision to watch Doctor Strange too. It just didn't make sense without it. You know what I mean? Like, wait, she's evil now? Like, what happened there? And just a lot of
yeah,
people didn't do that. They were like, no, they go to the movies and that's it. And so there's like, I don't see them putting a lot of effort into the MCU shows as much, as especially when you have a director who nailed it so well with this movie. It's like, oh, you're now Marvel's new A-lister. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
now that he has,
you
yeah,
know,
2 2 successful movies, 1 massively successful, and
massively successful.
but
I mean, to
I
introduce a, yeah, go ahead.
no, no, just
Sorry.
going to your point of the TV thing, I think Vision Quest might be, like, the last of, like, the
Full
full-on
deep
effort.
dives. Yeah. I mean, I like Wonder Man. It's just I get it. I get it. It's too bad it's like nominated for Emmys and everything else, but it is what it
Right.
is. Obviously we're gushing about the movie and there's plenty of other things we can talk about, things that they did well, things that they did right. What would be something you would have changed or that it didn't sit well with you?
I think one of my main things that didn't sit well with me was just how murdery Jean Grey was. Like, I understand she was distraught and going for her sister and,
Yeah.
but, like, when she straight up murders a guy, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so Are we
We're gonna
gonna just forget that?
dismiss that. We're like, she
Because
should kill the
I
dude.
because when I was seeing like I was hearing all the uh rumors about Jean Grey and just like how it is a whole evil look of it and stuff, and the damage control and things like that. I was kind of in my head, in my own like theory canon was like, so
Yeah,
Jean Grey isn't bad, and she goes a little crazy, because of the Phoenix Force, but she isn't bad. Like how much better, or like in my head, I was like, what if she was more possessed by the Shadow King?
yeah,
Because you have that possession like power, and
yeah,
then is
yeah,
using her and her power really. It's like he could have been the main bad guy and kind of give more of like an out for Jean Grey a little bit,
yeah,
but
yeah. Or if they
um
just could have had her not murder somebody and then
that
be that.
too. I mean, like you have a little scene at the end or something where he just like, someone get an ambulance, he's hurt, and then he's just like,
Mhm.
he's alive, but he's hurt. That's all. Like you
Yeah,
just have
yeah.
that little bit in there, but like she's throwing people off of buildings, maybe because she knows that Spider-Man will like save him. But
Save him. Yeah. No, one dude
the
gets
thing,
that dude gets railed by
oh
that
yeah,
car.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
he puts him in the middle
he
of the
did.
street and gets whooped. Yeah,
He did.
yeah,
Yeah, that was one thing I did say well with me. Another thing, it was like I guess they'll probably resolve it in one of the Avengers films that are going to be coming out soon. I didn't like that they kind of didn't resolve his the stress that he was going under, like his mutation, his evolution, just kind of like stopped with that.
yeah.
It's like, whoa, because like the implication is like, oh, is this like gonna be the 4-arm spider or the 6-arm Spider-Man? Is this a Venom
Right,
symbiote that's better? It's like, what's going on here? And it's just
like a
sort of like the
Spider
plot line.
Island.
Yeah, it just sort of dropped, and I was like, I
Hmm.
get it. He came in control of it, and whatever. But it was like, well, that was a pretty big part of the film, and it's done in a way you kind of forget that it's there. But then you're like, wait a minute, that was a thing, though. That was a major
Yeah,
part of the film, and I'm sure it's going to get brought up in the next Spider-Man, like I said, Avengers, Doomsday, or Secret Wars, or whatever it is. I
or
mean, if
whatever's
you're
gonna
gonna do
get
it, man.
next. Yeah,
I mean, if you're gonna do it, though, go for it, man. Give him the 6 arms. Like, go for it. Go, like, give him
yeah.
the
Like give him the
full
full
on
on
Spider-Man.
beast. Yeah, full
Yeah,
on
I'd
like
like just
practical Spider Man.
yeah. Spiders, man. Yeah, I was a little upset that didn't get resolved, but in a meaningful way. But I mean, I guess it was fine. I guess they have to leave things open. I
Mm.
know you really did like the Punisher. I wasn't a big fan of the dynamic, at least for me. Like Spider-Man had always had an adversarial relationship with the Punisher just because the Punisher is such a killer, and the Punisher
Mhm.
doesn't banter, he doesn't joke, he doesn't tell he's very, like, at least like, maybe it's just my own headcanon for him. He's very
Mhm.
just like, "Get out of my way." Like, he's a force of nature, and you either try and stop him or you get run over, you know what I mean? Like, and I thought he was a little too silly at times, and I get it. It's a Spider-Man movie, you can't have a homicidal killer, just, tornadoing through New York, and having him team up with him. But I personally didn't like that interpretation of the Punisher.
Mhm.
Um, that was just me. And I also the other thing I
Yeah,
really and the other thing I yeah, he was like, "Ah!" I'm like, what is
yeah.
that? Like, what are
I
you
live for
doing?
that. I live for John Barenthal going, "Ah, ah," when he's
I'm
just
like, why is he
shooting at the
doing that?
Hulk or
Yeah,
even
when he
has
was
the
shooting at the
mask
Hulk,
on.
I literally was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Okay."
I
That
think, to
seems
be fair
really
too, I think
aggro
that's him getting through like his fear of, I'm shooting at the Incredible Hulk right now.
Yeah, I guess so, man. It was just it was so caught me off guard. I was like, maybe it's just I haven't watched enough of him in, like, the other MCU stuff. I was just like, "What is this?" I'm like, "God."
Yeah, yeah, like I already said, I like their
I'm
back and forth. I like
Oh, look, I'm in the
their
minority on
banter
this one.
myself.
I mean,
Yeah,
I am
that's all
completely
good.
in the minority on this one. I looked on, I
You
was like,
like a
"Oh."
more traditional Punisher, which
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do.
the Netflix shows in the or the actual shows are very much like that.
Well, and the
Like
thing is,
when he
like,
was in
it's
the
kind of a boring
Daredevil.
to be honest, though, that's a boring character to put on the screen. It's one thing when you have, like,
Mhm.
internal monologue or his, like, war journal, and he's got his little notes, and that can kind of, get you into his thought process, and you know what I mean? Like, it works on the page, but when you
Mhm.
translate it to the big screen, like, unless he is like you said, he's the predator essentially just stalking through New York and people are trying to get out of his way, it probably doesn't work in a, Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I get it though. I'm just, again, if I'm bringing up things I would have changed, I maybe would have done a different character. Like, it's like
Again,
Daredevil would have worked
everybody's
just
own.
as well. You know what I mean? Like Daredevil would have been a lot of fun as that character. You know what I mean? Like
He would have. And I was hoping, I think this kind of goes into something I would have changed. I felt like the hand was very out of place.
yeah. Well,
I think it was just there because the director
yeah.
liked it was very like their scenes were cool. It was like the whole Chinese opera,
Yeah.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just still was out of place to me, and I think that one was a little honed in because of
shoehorned in. Yeah.
So just because it was like it's the hand, which is cool, but so now they're down to just 7 people, and
and they're working for damage control.
yeah, they're working for damage control. This ninja clan that is very what's the best word? It's very like steeped in tradition, but also of like
we're gonna say
pride
tradition. Yeah. I was able to dismiss it enough because like they are such like street level villains in New York. I would have, if I, like I said, if I was gonna have an issue, I'd be more with Jean Grey showing up. And if I didn't have an issue with Jean Grey showing up, I was like, I have to allow for the hand to be here. You know what I mean? Although, like you just said, though, if it had been Daredevil as his team up partner, that would have been, made sense.
Or that would have made more sense, or at least something in. Like you could have had Daredevil be at that jail or whatever, the containment facility that they had Jean Grey in. At least have that make more sense. It just I don't know.
He's the counselor there to meet with a client or something like that or whatever.
Oh, no, at the time though, Daredevil is. Yeah, it is kind of a spoiler if you haven't been keeping up with the MCU show, but he's in prison now.
That's right.
So that's why, and that's why, like there's a scene in where he gets the key of Spider-Man gets the key of the city. Like he gets it from the lady who was actually the chief of staff to Mayor Fisk. So like she's the mayor now.
Oh,
so it's kind of like, so it shows you like the timeline of the movie within. Excuse me, the show and everything too. So, but again, I think for me, like the hand was just the most out of place thing there. Like
that's fair.
So Jean Grey made more sense to me than the hand did.
The hand. I was gonna say, speaking of the Fisk, I did see like a poster of this face scratched out, like Fisk Mayor or something like that on a dumpster or something. Like that. That's cool little Easter egg.
Because at the time too, like he was ahead of like this whole. He started the whole anti-vigilante. It was basically what Daredevil. I think we talked about it with Gene a little bit. The Reign, Devil's Reign.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, again, like if for me, if you're gonna have Gene in there, you could have them in there. There's a few things that would have gone like a bridge too far. I'm like, oh, Rocket Raccoon's here. I'm like, nope, that I ain't buying. You know
no, that'd be crazy. But I think it was the same in the same sense too. If like you can have the hand in there, you can have the Punisher in there.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think you couldn't. You couldn't have the Punisher. I think that you could have the Punisher in there. I just didn't like his portrayal. Like, not his portrayal. I just didn't like the interpretation of the character. Like in that I was saying, my interpretation of the character would not have fit in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, just that, like I said, the force of nature, unspeaking, just like blowing through people. Like that doesn't work in this Spider-Man movie. And I agree, the decisions they made were probably right. I just, I would have gone a different way. But again, there's a reason they're making the movies and I'm sitting behind a computer, bad.
They have $1 billion box office. Do you, Brian?
I do not. I don't even have. Yeah. Let's just briefly talk about the cast. And, we've kind of mentioned them as we kind of went through this, but, how did you feel about Tom Holland? How is he holding up as Spider-Man? What did you think? As the
He was horrible. The worst Spider-Man.
Yeah, I can tell.
We've had way better Spider-Man. Who's been a better Spider-Man?
Andrew Garfield. No, that's not.
And Neil Patrick Harris doing the voice of Spider-Man in that MTV 3D TV show.
That's right. He did do that, didn't he? That's right. Yeah.
No, I think Tom Holland was. I think out of all four of them, even though I like No Way Home, the better out of the movies, this is Tom Holland's best performance.
I 100% agree, because I think I said this earlier. I think the emotional crux lands a lot on Toby and Andrew in that one, whereas this one is like it's him front and center. It is Tom Holland's movie, and he's all about it.
He does a thing where you can tell he definitely learned from guys like Robert Downey Jr., where a lot of his emotional cues were nonverbal. He was doing a lot of physical nonverbal cues and emotional looks and everything that worked very well. That's like Robert Downey Jr. does that very well too.
Yeah. Well, they talk about that too, like the infamous scene where he's like, "I don't want to go, I don't want to go." Like he says, like, we couldn't. It was like I think he cites Robert Downey Jr. is like the reason he was able to do it. Like he got him through that scene. He was able to hit that emotional hit, because man, when it hits, I was just like, oh God, I don't know. Yeah, that's a really good point. What about Zendaya? Zendaya has a very minor role in this, but for the moment she's in there,
comparatively,
yeah.
I think I think she was great, especially like you said, the turn of her, from being like, oh hey, like the little subtleties there too, like when like right before that she's web swinging with Spider-Man, and she's
for the first time.
quote unquote first time, but also, but no, I mean also though, like in that web swinging, she's not freaked out or anything. She's just going with the motions. But then when it's actual MJ, she's freaked out, kind of not looking. Yeah. So it's like that little subtle change, like little hints that she was possessed. Like in retrospect, that you watch it now, you're like, oh, okay. And then when she was falling down to the change in her, the quick change of the face from, cockiness to,
damn,
freak out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I love that scene too, when she finds the letter, like, when the letter that he had written for her to explain the situation, she's like, and I love that her matter of factness, and that's her character, is like the bluntness of her character. She's like, I know you're in love with that girl. I'm not that girl, and I don't know who you are, and I don't love you. And it was just like,
I totally agree. The bluntness and just the warmth of the bluntness that she gave was, it wasn't mean. It was sorrow, and it was like, this is the truth, and
I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to be nice about it, but like, you need to hear this right now, because you're building me up in your head, and I'm not that person.
Right.
And
it wasn't, again, it wasn't like abrupt in a sense of like, it wasn't.
She was also totally, but she was also totally justified in like exactly what she said.
No, for sure.
It's like, you're like, yep, yeah, you're right.
She says it in a way where you are going like, oh yeah, no, you're totally right. Like, you're not, like, I'm okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, you're right.
We kind of briefly talked about Barenthal. Like I said, I have as the Punisher. Like I don't think he was bad. It's just, again, it's not my interpretation of the Punisher, but you seem to be on board with him, right?
I liked it. Again, I liked his back and forth with Tom. It's funny that they're both in
Odyssey. All three of them were in Odyssey.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he has kind of like the same kind of like character back and forth in the Odyssey that in with this.
To be fair, he kind of plays the same character in all of his stuff.
Oh no, for sure. He's very much like Harrison Forditis, but I thought he was a lot of fun, and him as the Punisher was really good.
Yeah. And what was I was going to say, Sadie Sink though, as Jean Grey. Like I was all on board for her.
I'm excited to see the future of her as Jean Grey.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think she's a hell of an actress. She's one of the best things about Stranger Things, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
And I honestly had no idea she was even in the movie. Like I said, I just was like, I'm not going to check anything out. I'm just going to go in blind. And so not only was it refreshing to see her, but it was also like, oh, you're the Phoenix? Like, what? I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Mind blown. No, I really enjoyed her. And like you just said, I'm really excited to see where she goes with this. Yeah.
And then going down the list of just the other characters, like
Yeah.
Jacob Batalon, was again, he's very consistently good as Ned.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
Same with Mark
No
Ruffalo.
notes. Yeah, no notes.
No. Same with Mark Ruffalo. The only thing I was a little bit more was just more of the Hulk in Spider-Man, in a sense of like you pretty much all in the trailers is what you got of him in the movie.
Well, from what I heard, they added a lot of that after the fact. After they had shot Primary, they're like, oh, we need more. And that's why that whole sequence happens with him. But I don't think initially it was supposed to be that much of the Hulk. And they were like, we need more. And so they went back and reshot and added a bunch of that stuff in. So it was originally, from what I understand, supposed to be way less.
It still wasn't enough for me, which is fine.
Yeah, it's never enough for you. I was gonna say, I definitely like that he's like, I liked his interplay with Peter. It has a little bit of that like mentor mentee kind of thing. He's like, oh, you're not stupid. Like it's like I go to the library. You mean the library that way?
You're right. It's like he's like, you're not one of my students, are you?
Yeah.
And then
Mark Ruffalo's always fun. So yeah,
he's very good. And then the also just the kind of the whole thing with the Pandora's box of this inhibitor that Peter's working on, this universal inhibitor.
Gee, that's not going to come to play with the X-Men movies at all.
No, exactly. And just his like him being like, are you sure? As somebody who would know a thing or two about inhibitors being inhibited and then forcibly being inhibited.
Yeah.
Like just like he's like, tread carefully.
Yes, absolutely. It's like, hey, you can do this if you want to, but there's consequences. I believe it's Lisa Colon Zayas. I'm probably butchering that, and that's on me for not doing my research. She played Jean DeWolf, which, as we mentioned, brief role, but it was good to see the police working with, instead of treating him like it was good to see, like, and I thought she was great. I thought the scenes with her kids were great, and I'm like, it's sad because like if this mirrors any of the comics, we know where her end is going to be, but it's good to see, like, that him having someone on the side of the law supporting him as opposed to always being like put down.
And this may sound bad, but she does so well in that part that when she does inevitably die, it'll be impactful.
I will say her episode of The Bear last season, there's an episode of The Bear last season where it's when her and she's on unemployment just trying to get a job. And I'm telling you right now, I didn't like that last season much, but that episode hit me in the gut. And I told we were watching, I was like, I felt seen after that episode because I know exactly. I was like, I've been out of work for like, almost like 4 years essentially since the G4. I've had some gigs here and there, but like just looking for work like that and just like, having it all shut in your face is just like, yep, I felt seen, and I thought she nailed it. I think she got the Emmy for that. I think
so. Yeah, I think she did get the Emmy for sure.
But she absolutely deserves it. Absolutely deserves it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that finishes off with Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. As we mentioned, she basically has just that one scene.
Yeah, which what's great about that scene is not only the stuff that she's saying to Peter, but Peter recognizing that Jean is the one that needs to hear this now.
Yes. It was such.
I thought that was a great moment.
Yeah. It's such good writing when you can do that thing where like, hey, they say something and then it applies again. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I mean, like, I love that. I love that kind of stuff. I love that kind of writing when you're like, oh, yep. Oh, there's even more there's more subtexts that we didn't even know. You know what I mean? Like, I loved it. It makes me excited for the next one. You know what I mean? It really does.
Same here.
What I do want to talk about real quickly, is the comic Brand New Day versus the movie Brand New Day. As we mentioned, Brand New Day is the comic. It's sort of like the initiative that followed One More Day, where it was like just like the era for like 2 or 3 years of where like, hey, we're going to give Spider-Man back to his roots and he's not going to need Mary Jane and he's going to be a swinging bachelor and all that. And I remember the first thing you asked after I said, yeah, I saw it, you were like, well, what'd you think? And I think my reply was like, how can they get the movie right and the comic so wrong? And I mean that in the sense like the movie recognized that Peter and MJ's relationship is more powerful as a storytelling tool and as a character than they are separate. You know what I mean? Like it realized that they had their memory erased at the end of the last film, and it ends with them like, yep, no, let's get them back together because that's where they belong. Fans want it, audience go obviously love it. I mean, granted, the Zendaya, Tom Holland of it all probably helps a lot too, but it's like it works in the movies. The movie made $1 billion. Like, figure it out, Marvel. Like, this is what people want, right? Or am I wrong?
Without giving her a symbiote.
Oh yeah, and then Jackpot and all that.
And it's funny how like yes, this is Brand New Day, and basically the catalyst of One More Day is in No Way Home, and No Way Home is also just like the superior like storytelling of it. It made more sense for the reason, even though how a little bit backwards it was, but just the simplicity of the reason made it make more sense, be so much more better than the comic.
Well, and it's so funny, like you could have applied that same logic to the comics. Like, hey, my life is falling apart right now. Everyone knows who I am. Doctor Strange, you shouldn't do this. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. Oh crap. Wait, who am I? And like literally just like all, like you can shift reality and retcon things. And that would have made sense in that context. Like, yeah, I've been unhappy that Mary Jane and him are gone, but it's like, makes sense. The weird deal with the devil and it like for specifically his marriage, it was like, it's so out of left field. It's so out of left field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then also you can still say, hey, that reality still exists. They were married and there's a potential for them to like rekindle that love and get back together again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just sad that, like you said, the movie got it so right. It's like, hey, we did this thing and we're bringing it back because that's the wrong way to go. This is better with them together. And somehow the comic just continues to poop the bed because I honestly hate this. I don't want to see him dating like Liz Allen or whoever. It's like, I don't care about any of that. Like, it's Gwen or it's Mary Jane. And honestly, at this point, it's Mary Jane. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he's been together with Mary Jane longer than he's been with Gwen Stacy.
Yeah. And Mary Jane's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, she's cool. Like, don't eat it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, for sure.
I guess that leads into final thoughts and sort of recommendations. Josh, what's your final thoughts about the whole thing, about the movie and everything else?
Yeah, I think we both are on kind of a consensus that we both really like the movie and are excited again for the next, Spider-Man movie. It's rare that you get number 4 being this good.
Yeah.
And not boring.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't seem like they had run out of ideas. It's kind of like it doesn't seem like a TV show that does a season way too long or something where they're just kind of really grasping at straws for stories.
Again, that's the beauty of Spider-Man. It's like he's evolved for so long. It's like there's so many stories you can go after and do and tell and all that,
And not only that, it's just like left field stories that haven't been told. Like this whole Jean Grey stuff. Everything in this movie essentially is not based really off of any like comic source
storyline. Well, it's funny, so I told you because Marvel put out Marvel put out a like $9.99 trade of like some of the collected stories from Brand New Day. Sort of very similar to what DC's been doing, the DC Compact series. Like I said, I read through most of them. Totally fine. Have no bearing at all in anything to do with the movie. You know what I mean? Even though it's kind of released and on, or released at the same time, it simultaneously. Thank you. it has nothing to do with anything in the movie outside of the fact that the title is the same and, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. And yet this movie, despite not pulling anything directly from the comics, perfectly got the comics, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
It was honestly, it's kind of what you want from a movie where it can be slightly based off of a storyline and stuff, but as long I want a new story because I don't want the same thing I just saw in a comic book. Because I've seen it. I've already seen it.
Read it. Yeah.
This is I think this is a great evolution of not only Spider-Man as a character in the movies, but just like what Spider-Man stories can be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, and Holland at some point will have to pass on the torch. And he said, "Oh, I don't want to do this character past 30." And I was like, "I don't want to do this character past 37," which is great. But it's like, go ahead.
He's also been openly saying like, "Hey, I want to be the one that passes the torch to Miles or Gwen."
Yeah, yeah.
So
and that's exactly right. Yeah, and there'll be a time when that is needed to be done. You know what I mean? It's not yet. It's not.
Which I thought they were almost going to do it because at the end of this movie was very much like Ultimate Spider-Man.
Him getting shot.
And it was shot by the Punisher, who was trying to shoot somebody else. It was very much like the Ultimate Spider-Man. So I thought it's like, okay, this is kind of where we might see a Miles like type of pass the torch thing.
Yeah, it definitely could have happened. I'm glad it didn't. I think we can legitimately, like you said, it's amazing to see a film go 4 films and still be just as good, if not better, than like the previous films. I think we can easily get another 2 to 3 films out of it before I think, let's get some fresh blood in here. You know what I mean?
I was very afraid that Spider-Man was going to die in this movie only because of that. Like when I saw Frank on getting like the sniper rifle, I was like, oh my God, they're going to do that.
They're going to do that thing.
And not only that, like during all the premieres and everything, people were talking because Zendaya was wearing all black and all the American premieres, and then at a Shanghai one or something, everything was like for mourning or funeral.
Yeah.
So we were like, is he dying? Is she dying? Like, what's? People were kind of looking really into that whole thing, which she was just probably just wearing premiere dresses. Yeah, fashion,
because black always looks good on anybody.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you though, Josh. Like I absolutely love the movie. As I said, I think I've been on the Tom Holland train basically since Civil War. He definitely, you can tell he loves the character, and there's an affection and enthusiasm that shines through in this movie. And as I mentioned before, like there's an emotional element that has been missing from the MCU films of late. It's like they've been relying too much on the gee whiz, the explosions, and then the humor. And it's like you need to have that emotional crux as well. One of the things I liked about the Thunderbolts movie or the new Avengers film, whatever you want it, is like it ends like they save the day by hugging the guy. You know what I mean? Like that's how they say. It's like sometimes you just need a hug, and and that's all well and good, but it's like there still needs to be like you need to care about all the characters. You need to love the characters, and you need to feel when they have pain, and you need to and triumph and be enjoy when they triumph. And I think that this movie kind of hit all of those elements. Because if not, like I said before earlier, it's just all frosting and whipped cream, and it's like that tastes good, but it's not really filling. You know what I mean? It's got no substance. As we mentioned, we kind of talked about the future of Spider-Man, like where that's going. But where do you see the future of the MCU heading after this film? Like, do you feel a little bit better? Are you still works? I know a lot of people are like, well, the MCU is like they haven't even established Doctor Doom, and we're gonna do Doomsday next and all that.
Yeah, I heard Kevin Feige talk about this a little bit. Where if you think about it, like Thanos's build up, where everybody was talking about before the movie was what he smiled, he was on a chair, and then and then he was like, oh, fine, I'll do this myself with the whole gauntlet. But his real build up was actually Infinity War, and that's what Doctor Doom will be for. Doomsday will be for Doctor Doom. So I think people just kind of need to kind of chill out, like just wait until we see the movie, because all we've seen really is a trailer and a couple teasers. But I'm excited to see what happens.
My only fear is that, like, I understand, like, Thanos had to die or whatever, and like I get that. Like, it was a buildup over like from the end of phase one all the way to phase three or whatever.
Uh-huh.
With Doom, though, it's like he is such an integral part of the Marvel universe that I really hope that they keep him around in some capacity, even if it's like, oh, Doom's out in Latveria doing like whatever he's doing. I just don't want to like, oh, that was that, and we killed him off, and it's over with. It's like, oh man, you're gonna run through your villains, your good villains, real quick if you do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doom should always just be a background. At the very least, in the background is a problem.
Which I think he still can be, even after Secret Wars. I think he still can be.
Like I said,
Doom prevails.
Doom prevails. He does. I'm hopeful. I mean, like, here's the thing: is the Russo brothers, despite the their non-MCU stuff not being the greatest, and I don't want to say not the greatest. Their post MCU stuff has kind of been okay. They do know the MCU, and they made Infinity War sing. They made Winter Soldier sing. They made Endgame. So it's like, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be them. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously hopeful. You know what I mean? I think that Marvel's new tactic of like, we need to get back to making good films that people want to see instead of just flooding the field with everything is smart. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Star Wars has figured that out yet, but that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll see. We will see. We got what 3 or 4 months until Doomsday comes out.
Yeah. Is there something before Doomsday?
No, I think that's it. I think it's Spider-Man then Doomsday. Maybe there's a Marvel project like on Disney Plus.
I don't know if Vision Quest is before.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited. I've been excited for Doomsday. I've been excited for Doom.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And the whole multiverse coming to a head.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not a full reset or a phase 0, but it'll be interesting. Let's talk about some similar reading / viewing. If there's anything out there that fans, if they really like this movie or they like the idea of Spider-Man, what they check out. There was the aforementioned $9.99 Spider-Man Brand New Day book, which if you're just looking for Spider-Man being Spider-Man and good Spider-Man stories, I'd check that out. $10, you can't go wrong with that. I mean, that's a
great deal.
Yeah, because unfortunately, the next book, which I recommend, is the Untold Tales of Spider-Man, which we are going to do that book. I'm going to put my foot down about that one. Unfortunately, to get the full trade of that, it's probably going to run you about $100. So, but it's
our Marvel app for free preview or free
checkmate, or your public library.
Yeah, that too.
The
Libby that up.
Yeah, Libby that or Hoopla that up. One of the stories that I think is a classic Spider-Man story that I think encapsulates him is the Nothing Can Stop the Juggernaut story. It's one of my favorite stories. Do you know that one?
Oh yeah. It's a very classic Spider-Man, especially what you were talking about too, like his indomitable spirit. If that's right.
It's Juggernaut. It's only 2 issues, but man, they pack a lot. It's Roger Stern, who I think Roger Stern is one of the best 80s like Marvel writers. I love Roger Stern. Like, he does my favorite Avengers stories. He did the Under Siege one, which is the one where the Masters of Evil just break into the Avengers mansion and just mess people up.
Oh, that's that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Roger Stern. I love Roger Stern's 80s stuff. Anyway, he did the story, and it's literally just the Juggernaut just charging through New York, just marching through, and Spider-Man is just a fly being bat around as trying to stop this guy. And Spider-Man is doing everything he can to stop the unstoppable force. And it is just 2 issues of pure excellence. I absolutely love that story. I think it kind of really plays into like a little bit of what we just saw on the screen. Is there any other books you have, Josh?
For me, just kind of on that, indomitable spirit and just the never-ending fight. We did talk about it on the Alpha Show. I promise we did, but I really liked.
I know. I believe you. I 100% believe you. You say it. I believe. I have no recollection of that moment. Is all I'm saying.
We'll talk with our guest next week if he remembers too. Our next episode. But I think you would be great to read Spider-Man Coming Home because it has that feeling of Spider-Man getting beat down, but finding different ways to keep getting back up and keep fighting. It's introduction of Morlun, yes, and it has the Ezekiel stuff,
Spider
but
totems and all
the
that.
spider totem, but just done very well. It's also Spider-Man as a science teacher, which makes perfect sense.
I wish that stayed a thing.
Yeah, same here. I wish they could still potentially go back to it.
Maybe,
but I think that's just one of my favorite Spider-Man storylines.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I will say the Straczynski stuff by the end gets a little wonky, but his start was really good.
I just like the thought, the thought process of it, like Spider biting Peter wasn't random; he was chosen. So I just kind of, I just like that thought. Thought process.
Like I said, it just gets weird when there's the weird adult twins that Gwen Stacy had with Harry,
we don't talk about Norman twins. No.
Okay. It's almost like Paul. It's like the Paul of, like you said, Spider-Man comics can be good or they can be bad.
Exactly.
Not be mediocre. And boy, howdy, those were not mediocre issues.
Right.
The other one I talked about this earlier was the Spider-Girl stuff. Like, I think the Spider-Girl stuff is just such a great update to Spider-Man. It's literally his daughter, Mayday Parker. She's got the spider powers and she's going through a rogues gallery, and her father mentors Peter Parker, who's missing his leg, is, trying to, help her on the side. I love those stories. They were so much fun. It was Tom DeFalco, who, again, one of my favorite 90s, kind of Marvel writers. Like you said, he did Thunderstrike and a few other things like that. I really like Tom DeFalco. So,
you know, it's another one too. I think we talked about Fantastic Four through the years, but they did the same one with Spider-Man, and I think that one is also a really good.
The Future Foundation stuff, or
no. We remember on the show we talked about Fantastic Four. Was it through the years or?
Life Story.
Life Story.
Spider-Man,
excuse me. Yeah.
Spider-Man Life Story, or
Spider-Man Life Story. Excuse me.
Yes.
I think that one's a really fun.
That's
really
Matt Fraction,
cool.
I think, who did that one. It's really good. Yeah.
That's a really good one. I think it's also a good read. And then my last recommendation, if you like this movie specifically, I don't know how many times I have to say check out Into the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse as just a Spider-Man movie. It's Miles Morales, and it's all these different Spider-Man, but in as a whole, I think it is the quintessential Spider-Man movie.
No. I would agree. Into the Spider-Verse is real strong and a strong contender to be the number one. I'm not sure if I can 100%. Well, I don't know. Maybe I can. I don't know. It's great.
It's my number one. I think it's my number one with a rocket.
Was that the one where we walked into the theater and some guy in a Spider-Man costume started to harass me, and I just said, "I know more than you"?
Maybe I think so.
It was like
you just Ron Swanson, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what happened. I was an ass. I was just like, I know more than you. Just kept walking.
You don't know who you're dealing with, type of thing. Or the Blade. You obviously don't know who you're fucking with. But those are our similar reading and viewing. Unless you have anything else.
I think we got it, man. I think we got it. I think we're all on board. Go see it if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, go see it again. And tell your friends to go see it.
Give them more money. Yeah, give them more money. They need it.
More money than they need. Yeah, they need it. Speaking of recommendations, what's your weekly recommendation this week, Josh?
What I've been reading.
Yeah,
what have I been reading? And so I last episode I was talking about how X-Men 97 I was just kind of those catching up on that and watching that. That got me nostalgic, and I was like, you know what? Because this new season delves a lot with Apocalypse, so I was like, I'm gonna start reading again for the umpteenth time. X-Men: Age of Apocalypse. Yeah, exactly. It's one of, if not the, my favorite X-Men story. Involving Apocalypse. It's a separate future where Legion accidentally kills Professor X, and because of that, domino effects where Apocalypse is in charge of the whole world and just like so many different versions of the characters of X-Men and everything. It's again, it's one of my favorite books of all time.
It's arguably 90s X-Men comics peak with that. You know what I mean? Like you could argue like everything is just a trajectory, like Fatal Attractions and Extinction Agenda, all that. It peaks with it's just like like they came out of that, everyone buying every almost X-Men book coming out of that. Like it is, I mean, you could argue that definitely. It was like, I mean, I haven't read it probably in years. I have such nostalgia, like joy for that book. Like I agree with you. Like I'm almost scared to read it because I'm like, is it as good as I remember it? We'll find
out. As good as I remember.
Okay, all right. Well, then shoot.
Again, you have to go in like this was in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of stuff is edgy, but man, it's really fun.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I kind of got in an argument with somebody at the shop the other day about, like, oh, just god awful comics from the 90s. I'm like, whoa, dude, bro. I was
again, like, you don't know who you're talking to.
Well, no, he was older than me, so he was just like,
that's what I'm saying. Him saying that to you, it's like you don't know who you're talking to. But
I'm like, dude, you can't say all comics from the 90s were bad. I'm sorry. Like, yes, I'm all, you are right. It is some of the worst of comics, and it is some of the best of comics. Like that is the thing about the 90s, and somewhere in between, you have things like the Spider Clone Saga.
yeah. Oh goodness, yeah. Yes, anyway. It's in between.
Yes, in between. Not totally just slanting the scale to the worst. Anyway, well, I was gonna say real quick for me,
it's the Darth Vader bringing balance to the 90s.
Yeah, that's you're not wrong. You're not wrong, dude. I mean, I actually do. It's funny because like when I have time, I want to be able to sit down and read all of like Nightfall and like all the lead up and ending of that, with including Knight's Quest and Knight's End and all that, which is when Batman gets his back broken and Azrael takes over.
Yeah,
because like I do have fond memories of that, but well, is it good? Well, I'm about to find out because I have 3 omnibuses on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, maybe I'll do that next. So I've actually been trying to figure out what the next like non-work, when I say work, I mean podcast related read I want to do. I pulled out Starman, which I've been enjoying, but it's long and it's not exactly scratching the itch I'm looking for. Maybe. But the one itch that is being scratched is the current Conan the Barbarian book right now. If you're not reading like to this latest issue, I think it's issue 33 that just came out, is a perfect jumping on point. Jim Zub is still killing it with the book. And I forget who the artist is, but he is doing like his best John Buscema. And it looks like those like classic, like, 1970s, 1980s Conan art.
Oh, weird. It is John Buscema.
I wish. No, it's not.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know. I'm kidding.
He passed away, I think. But it's just they reintroduce Valeria, and it's him being a swashbuckling pirate because he was the dude's not, and like supernatural entities, and they crash shipwreck on a mysterious island. I'm like, oh, this is just great. It's so good. So if you're looking for some good, like, sword and sorcery sandals and, swords, like go check out Conan. It's excellent. Titan's doing that book right now.
Conan is like, he's like, he could be the next, he's like a Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Meaning like he's been a swashbuckling pirate. He's been a barbarian. He's been an adventurer. He's been
he's a King Conan. There's,
King.
Well, that's the thing is he fits the mold. He's like Batman in that way. Like Batman can be a detective story. Batman can be, like you can fit Batman to fit like the mold as long as it works. And Conan's the same way. He's a smart warrior, but he can be a thief. He can be you just said he can be a swashbuckler. He can be just a barbarian or a general. He can be fighting dinosaurs in one issue and fighting ghosts in the next. And in the next one, he's just fighting regular dudes who are like, riding on camels. Like it's like it can fit whatever mold you need it to, And so in that regard, I never thought I would compare Conan to Batman, but it does make some little sense. Anyway.
Yeah, and then also he could be on a team with Wolverine
and the Punisher, 2099.
The Punisher and Scarlet Witch.
Whatever. That was the weirdest thing, but anyway. Well, on that note, Josh, good show.
That's really it. That's our end of our show. Thanks for everybody for listening. Please make sure to subscribe to us, and again, check us out on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you like the episode, please give us those 5 stars. We live by them, and we are sustained by them. And recommend it to your friend. Yeah. Emotionally, but also physically. I eat the stars physically. Recommend us to your friends. I mean, just word of mouth. Hey, if you want to send this out to Tom Holland and Zendaya, or the director, so they can find their podcast organically, because we're the only podcast talking about the movie right now. So yeah,
no one else is talking about it.
No, of course not. No. But and also, if you want something, you want us to talk about something, or you have questions on something, or just chat to us about the podcast or anything, we're always open on the socials and everything. Honestly, as you can tell by our excitement of just like 1 or 2 comments on our social, like we're always open for a good back and forth of discussion too. Like, Absolutely. What do you think? What do you think of the movie? What do you think? Do you disagree with one of our takes? And then we can reply on how wrong you are, and then you can just that kind of that conversation. So,
and on that note, what are we doing next episode, Josh?
So we tease this on Lonely City. Yeah. I wanted to say Lonely Planet for a second.
I was just saying Lonely Island.
Yeah, I know. It took me a second. But next episode, we're gonna have a special guest. Somebody who's the OG. He's in the OG category of We Got Issues. Helped us make our logo basically too. And he is a big part of the podcast. It's going to be my younger brother Nate Markwith, which is going to
my former producer over at Nerdist.
There you go. And he's
such nepotism. He actually has, it's not, we're just gonna have your family on. No, he actually worked for me as one of my producers. So.
Oh yeah. No, but mostly nepotism too. I mean, that's fine
true too.
We're taking that back. Yeah, I mean, the reason he's one of your producers is the nepotism because you know me, so that's why I was like, exactly. Yeah, of course.
As I always say, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly. But yeah, so Nate's going to be on it, which is going to be a really fun conversation because we are going to be talking about Planet Hulk with him, and trust me, Nate lives and dies by this story. This is one of his favorite Marvel stories of all time.
I just finished reading the prelude to it all, where it sets up him heading into space and all that, and it's interesting. Yeah, so I actually have the trade right here, but I actually managed to find in the dollar bin a lot of the actual Planet Hulk issues. I was like, oh, cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, I was like, great. It doesn't have the first one, but I've got almost all of them at this point, and most of them were found in dollar bins. I'm like, perfect. I love it. Nice.
Yeah, and it'll be a great companion to our Red Hulk discussion too.
Yeah, so, that's true too. Yeah. Well, eventually we'll have to do the Peter David run or something like that, because that's considered, considered to be the pinnacle.
Maestro too, or stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
But yeah, so that's our next episode that we're going to be talking with Mr. Nate Markwith.
Alrighty then.
All right, well, thank you everybody again for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.